platform where we spotlight professionals, business owners, and culture and heritage of people that you don't know about. So today on Icss Moment, we shall be having a beautiful lady all the way from Ghana. Her name is Sylvia Rowley Achi. I hope I pronounced that well. Okay.
Yes, you did. Well done.
Yeah, she is a certified development consultant specializing in human capital development, program management, and business growth. She drives youth empowerment and entrepreneurship through collaboration with GIZ, SOS Children Village, Nigeria, Import Her, Gopal Worldwide Consultant, and of course, the US Consulate in Lagos. She's the founder of Silver Line Gold Consulting and Renewed Impact Growth Organization. She supports MSMEs and young African leaders with capacity building initiative. She is a certified BDSP with BOI and SMIDAM, ICSS Master Trainer, and a member of CIHRM Ghana and CIPM Nigeria. Wow, we could go on and on. So today, I am excited to host a remarkable lady, professional, who has grown through the journey of the ICSS. Welcome, Sylvia. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you, Stella. How are you doing too?
I am good. How is Ghana?
Ghana is very hot at the moment,
Wow.
but fine, peaceful, calm as always. It's a pleasure to be on your program. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go straight to the questions. So let's start from the journey. You previously served as a TFC, that is trainer, facilitator, and coach with GIZ on the ICSS program, and now you are a master trainer. I want to know the difference. What can you briefly share about that transition and how it has been like for you from a TFC to a master trainer?
Thank you very much, Stella. So the journey actually started in 2021 when Gopal Worldwide Consultants came to Edo State, and they were scouting for local organizations, local non-governmental organizations that are capable of implementing the SEDEN project, a section of the SEDEN project. So a little context, the SEDEN project encompasses, supporting entrepreneurs at different stages of their growth, at different stages of their push for self-sustainability in terms of, economic drive, economic benefits and all that. So then I was working with Sabiob as the administrative and HR manager. And when we got the contract to implement alongside other organizations that had been picked in Edo, I was assigned a trainer, facilitator, and coach role alongside the technical coordinator role. So what it means to be a trainer, a facilitator, coach is basically be able to train on end beneficiaries, entrepreneurs, the different modules on the ICSS framework. ICSS means the Inspire, Create, Start, and Scale modules when it comes to joining the economy of an environment or a community, or as the case may be, Nigeria as a country. So as a trainer, you train them on what it means to join the economy, the different sectors of the economy as far as Nigeria is concerned, and what skills do they have, what do they think they can learn, and how do they join the economy, either through the employment, self-employment, or the entrepreneurship routes, right? So as a trainer, you teach them this following the module. And as soon as they decide which pathway they want to go, whether self-employment, direct employment, or entrepreneurship, you as the trainer, you help facilitate the process. What this means is if they need to go, get their CVs ready to apply for jobs, or if they need to come up with a business model canvas, or if they need to come up with a business plan or growth plan, depending on what level or position they are in as as an individual, as a beneficiary. So that's where you facilitate to ensure that they get these outcomes are met. And then as a coach, you coach them through. So the job is not to do it for them, is to show them how to do it and handhold them where possible until they get it. So we did that as trainers, as TFCs, for a period of time, 2021 through 2024. Yes, I started in Edo. I moved to Lagos. I joined the Lagos ecosystem, continued from there, and in total, GOPA GIZ were able to impact more than 16,000 end beneficiaries. You can imagine that number as a whole across just Lagos and Edo State. So, to put it simply, from being a TFC to becoming a master trainer. So for TFCs, you train end beneficiaries on the modules on the ICSS framework, right? That's the Inspire, Create, Start, and Scale framework. Now, being a master trainer, you now have that responsibility of training new TFCs. Now, you don't deal with the beneficiaries directly, but your work would impact them, in the bigger picture. But you have to train the trainers who can now go out into the field and train end beneficiaries, because we have been doing this for a number of years. We have gathered momentum, capacity, expertise, and we need the ICSS framework to touch every part of Nigeria. Everyone has a right to benefit from it. So this is the major next step for us to train more trainers to go out there and touch lives.
Wow. Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. And the fact that you were able to move from Lagos to, from Edo State to Lagos, now to Ghana, same space, ICSS. Wow. I think you should have the ambassadorial, plaque for the ICSS. You have really done well.
Thank you. I must say that it's actually a huge impact on my professional career and my life as a person, because the fact that I'm able to still blend into ecosystems, despite the fact that I'm changing location, is very critical. For me. So there are people who would move and they have to start from ground zero. But for me, all I had to do when I got to Lagos was to connect with the team in Lagos, and I joined the ecosystem, a little bit of hand holding here and there. And in a few months, I was already part of the team and contributing. And now in Accra, now in Ghana, there is GIZ here. I know they have their own programs and everything, but I'm very grateful to GIZ Nigeria for giving me the opportunity to become a master trainer now, because when the opportunity comes and GIZ Ghana starts putting these opportunities out there, I know I am very well positioned to also train trainers, facilitators, and coaches here in Ghana. So it's a big one for me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. So my next question for you will be, you will agree with me that ICSS program has really produced a lot of trainers, like you have said it, beneficiaries, entrepreneurs across different countries. Now, what would you say has been the most powerful lessons the program has brought in your professional life?
Okay, so how do I explain this without overflogging? I don't call it overflogging, but the truth is the way the ICSS framework is designed, it's one of the very few perfect service products I've ever come across, I've ever had the opportunity to use or be part of the team that's helped implement it, and being able to ensure that the end beneficiaries understand the value and then they're able to create something from that knowledge, is the fact that you take ICSS from Edo and you take it to Delta State. If you follow the way it is structured, you get the same result, the same quality impact, even if you're speaking to a different kind of audience or you're in a different location. So being here in Accra, I'm not even worried. Being here in Ghana, I'm not even worried at all. So long that you have the people, the beneficiaries who need this, so long you have the ecosystem who will greatly benefit from this, and you have the needed resources and support, you can implement it anyway. That's so it has to do with the ICSS framework. Actually, every other thing that I might be or I have been on this call is just the added advantage. If you understand how the Inspire, Create, Start and Scale modules and the content and everything that has to do with that, if you understand how it works, every other expertise that you have, like great communication skills, presentation skills, being able to network stakeholders, man, everything comes together because of the framework is already near perfection. So that's what I'll say. That's why it looks like it's easy. It's well designed, so it's very, 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 very straightforward to implement. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so as someone who have worked with entrepreneurs for years, what would you say is one of the major challenges facing businesses, and how can the ICSS program, the training program like the ICSS, help address them? Because like you said, this ICSS module needs to go across Africa. So on hearing how the ICSS program can actually help businesses, I believe a lot of persons will key into it. So my question is, you are aware of the challenges that a lot of business owners face. I'm asking now, how can structured training programs like ICSS help to address them?
Very, very, very good and very valid question. Thank you, Stella. So business owners have different categories of problems, and each problem that they have, it has different levels of stress, like a different level of needs when it comes to the solutions that you're looking for. And challenges in businesses are normal. They are natural. It's how you are able to solve the problems, how creative you are, how innovative you are. That's what makes you grow. That's what makes the business grow. You understand? And that's how you're able to get ideas on how to get resources and everything. So first of all, challenges in businesses are normal. Now, when you take the ICSS framework and you meet a certain business owner and they have challenges, the way this framework has been designed is from inspire to create to scale, to start to scale, there is a solution to whatever that problem would be. Because when you look at a business, the challenge that a business owner might be facing could be from one or two gaps, probably when they started the business, or when the idea was being formed, or when the business model was being created, or how they were not able to target the right market, or they didn't do proper market survey. So, and all these are addressed within the framework. So most of the time because I mentor female-led business owners across Africa. So the few that I've mentored, so almost 10 now. So if you have mentored so far, you realize that, for instance, let me take Fafa. Fafa is a lady that produces spices, right? And dried fruits. So she's a Ghanaian. So when I met Fafa, Fafa's challenge was that she's not sure how to get the right license for her to produce product and push it out there to the public. So she was having private orders, but she wanted to go mainstream. And she didn't know how to do it. She kept complaining there were delays and all that. And by the time we walked through our available documents for the business, how the business was even registered, we came to realize that when the business was created, it was created for just one product. And that's the model she has been trying to use to even go as far as producing fruit juices and spices. Yeah, so when you are well grounded with the Icss framework, this is where the experience expertise come in. When you have been training and beneficiaries for a while and you've been interacting with different businesses, you immediately can tell after the first 30 minutes conversation where the roots of this big challenge you're bringing is coming from. So we're able to realize that, okay, you know what, you need to go back to your business model canvas. At the end of 6-7 months that I've been mentoring her, we had to do a name change. We had to do a proper registration, a limited liability company. Now she has the licenses for last week she sent me a message that she got the license for a new product or a new flavor of chin chin. That's like the 13th product now since we started last year. So using the Icss framework, you are able to identify what exactly the beneficiary or the person, the business owner you're trying to interact with, where exactly do they have the gap? Because anybody that is able to go through the 4 modules, I'm taking it too far. The first 2 modules, if you do inspire and then you do create, whether you need create or not at the end of the day, if you do the first 2 modules, trust me, and you're a serious, straight, level-headed person, you'll be able to solve most of the challenges that business owners have today. Yes.
Wow.
I hope I've answered the question.
Very well. A robust module indeed. Thank you so much. Now, I know a lot of persons watching, they want to become maybe a trainer, facilitator, coach, and all of that. Now, what advice would you give to them at this level? Looking at how you have spoken, they are inspired, and they want to become. What advice would you give to them at this level?
For someone, if I understand your question very well, for someone who is interested in becoming a trainer, right? I would recommend that they go through the modules. Most importantly, they start with the Inspire module. Why? Because some topics in that module will help you define who you are, know who you are and who you want to be. It will help you define what you already have and what it will take you to become what you want to be. In this case, a trainer, right? Why? Because it's not everybody that has the patience. I'll use the word patience at this point to train, because training, you're going to be impacting knowledge, and part of the knowledge you're impacting is based on your own beliefs, your own experience, and your own view of how the world is. And if you don't have it nailed down, if you don't know who you are, if you're not aware of who you are, you might go into the training and you might struggle because challenges will be there. Because there are days beneficiaries will not be motivated. There are days the resources may not be there. There are days even you may not be in the mood. But because you already know who you are and you already know the impact and what you want to become in the next 2 to 5, 6 years, it will help you stay focused and keep going. So I would suggest that such a person should get to know who they are first. The Inspire model helps with that. That's why it's not like I'm selling something here, but the Inspire model helps. It puts everything together for you. It's very resourceful. And then aside that, this person has also to be very hungry. Hungry in the sense that you cannot just say, oh, I want to become a trainer, and then maybe you get the certification and it stops there. Because that is when the work starts. It's not to get the certification is not you being the trainer. Certification is just giving you another pass mark to run as a trainer. So that is when the work starts. You don't have to wait for one big project from anybody. You have to go by yourself so that when other opportunities come, it's added to you. For when I'm not actively working with GIZ or GOPA, I'm busy doing other things. And the knowledge I've gotten so far, I add them. Now I'm in Accra and I've joined the HRO institution here in Ghana. That took me just 3 months when I applied. Why? Because I have been doing the work over the years in Nigeria and I didn't have to wait for one grand opportunity. And because I already have figured out what I wanted, what I was great at, and what I need to keep going, I knew that that was the next step for me. So anybody who wants to be a trainer should first of all get to know what it means to be a trainer and if it's what they want or if it's part of their life goals. And then they can take it off from there. Thank you.
Great. Amazing. I love the fact where you mentioned they must be hungry.
Oh, yes.
Not in terms of food, but for knowledge and ready to push. Thank you so much. All right. I think my last question for you now will be, now looking ahead, what impact would you like to see in the ICSS community? What impacts are you looking at to see?
This is the most exciting question. I must tell you that. Why? Because when I moved to Ghana a year plus ago, I was worried that I may have like a complete shift in terms of career opportunities and, professional, resources that I might need, or I may just switch career like completely from what I'm used to. One, because it's a new country, new environment, new culture, and new home, because I just got married as well. So all that, and even though I kept in touch with my colleagues back home, I also traveled once or twice for some trainings. But you can imagine my joy when I got the invitation to come for a master trainer proficiency workshop and master TFC. And when I wasn't sure what that meant, and I knew fully well that they were aware that I had moved from Nigeria. So on getting to that training and listening to the contents of the different sessions and interacting with old colleagues and all that, and also understanding my own presence there, being someone who is now resident in Ghana, it really helps because they have made me understand that I can implement it even outside the shores of Nigeria, even in any part of Africa, so long I am willing and able to put the resources together to do it, and I would get the support when that time comes. So that's very important in the ICSS framework implementation across the continent as a whole. Because imagine if you're taught this in secondary school, as you're leaving, you're already halfway there. You already figured it out. Not at NYC or after five years of working and not finding fulfillment. You already figured it out. You have less time to waste trying new things, and you already have a clear path on what to do, and then you plug in, right? So imagine me being told that I have this opportunity and capacity now, not just the certification, to do it here in Accra, because I've been interacting with the workforce in some levels, and I can tell that they have gaps. And when I say gaps, even in the employability level, oh my God, the company I'm consulting for, the behavior, the work ethics of the Ghanaians compared to the Kenyans and the Ugandans and the Nigerians and the Burkina Faso people, the Burkinabes, there's a difference, and not in a good way for the Ghanaians, not in a good way. So I can see the needs, and being able to see that I can train trainers, not just end beneficiaries, because that will be a lot of work on me alone. I can train trainers who can go out there, meaning for CIHRM, which is the HR body here, I can approach them with the proposal that this is important. This is good, it's been tried, tested, it's working, and they can plug it into one of their grand workshops and begin to train. And then I belong to the Lions Club also here in Ghana now. They always have projects that impact communities. So I can even go through that route and begin to push ICSS into these communities, especially when it comes to projects that have to do with education or youth, right? So you can see me, I'm also positioning myself, and the ICSS is, what else can I bring better than the ICSS at this stage? So I like that it is something you can implement across countries, and it's been tried a lot of times, refined along the years in Nigeria, and we have a final product. So I see it as not as a challenge. I see it as a blessing. We're just looking for the right time to push it into the crowd here in Accra. So I'm grateful to GIZ and to GOPA for this opportunity. I feel like I'm the most blessed master trainer on the team right now.
Wow. Thank you so much. While from all you have said, I'm already looking at the impact you are going to make through the ICSS. Sincerely, thank you so much. Wow, we have come to the end of the session, and I want to thank you so much for sharing your journey, and your story actually reminds me that growth within a structured program like the ICSS program can actually create real impact. I am super excited having you on the show today. Thank you so much, Didi Sylvia.
If you will allow me to say something really short and sweet. Okay. So talking about impact, I just want to commend you on this amazing project that you're doing. StellarVoices is amazing. And for those of you that are watching right now, if you don't know, I and Stella, we also started as TFCs, and look at where we are. Look at where we are today. When we started, I'm pretty sure maybe Stella had the picture in her head, but it wasn't this clear. Let alone being able, you see my point, being able to come up with such a very impactful project. So Stella, well done. This is also one of the mighty testimonies for being part of the TF, the trainer, facilitator, and coach community. And what are we now? Master trainers. So well done, Stella. And thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was really an honor having you here today. Thank you. See you next time. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.